sometimes when you're following the path of alignment, when you take that leap of faith, the nerves settle in. You can be so effing sure that something is a yes for you. And when you say yes, it brings forward some nerves, some panic, something other than excitement. We're going to have a conversation about this. I want to also talk with you about emotion mirroring and what this can look like and how this can show up in your life. And I want to share with you about what recently happened, like, what is today, Wednesday at the time I'm recording this, like 2 days ago. And I'm moving anyway because I decided, because I said I would. Okay. So, as healers, and you can come into the comments and tell me if this is you, like, we love to trust our intuition. We love to follow the nudges. When it's a yes, right? When we know we're meant to be somewhere or do something or be in someone's energy, it's like you can feel it, or you get a clear download, or you're receiving the signs, right? And same, like, I run my business very intuitively. I run my life very intuitively. Sometimes I have to do things that I don't want to effing do, and I do them anyway because that's part of the 3D and the human experience, right? We're not going to bypass that. But also, sometimes when I follow the aligned actions, there's fear that follows. And even if it's a yes, sometimes there's a fear that follows. And we're going to talk about the emotion mirroring too. Okay, so here's what happened. I have a podcast coming out tonight about this too, that I dive even deeper in depth, but I want to have a different conversation than what I had on my podcast. And I might actually put this on Sacred Whisper as well, because I forgot to talk about the motion mirroring that I'm realizing. So, okay, on Monday, I bought tickets for a huge live event that is probably a couple hours from me. I actually claimed that I wanted to go to more live events in 2025. This was something that I really wanted to do. I really am craving being around people that are like-minded, creating the relationships with people that are also living their life out loud and in alignment with what it is that they know they're here to do. And so we started off the year in Tulum, Mexico, with my coach and mentor, and had 4 days in there, and it literally changed my life. And I'm not new to going to events or retreats. Every single time that I go to an in-person event or a live, like, in-person event or a retreat, literally so much changes afterwards. You come back not even the same person. And there was one point where I used to roll my eyes. I'm like, whatever. It's just a bunch of hype. It's just a bunch of dopamine. And it is a big dopamine hit when you are there, because you're in person, you're in the energy, it's palpable, you're receiving information, your soul is on fire, and then you come home. And that's where the integration sets in. It's when the dopamine comes down and you're left with you and your thoughts and the embodiment of what it is that you gathered from that live event, and putting it into aligned action and deciding that it gets to be different, because you come home knowing that you are not the same, and yet now you have a decision to not go back into old patterns and habits. So I actually didn't know this event was even happening until probably about a month or so ago, and I was like, I want to go to that. I looked at it and I was like, ooh, oh, this isn't very far from me. I would still have to stay in a hotel, but whatever. And then I was like, yeah, I think I can make this happen. Let's do it. And then it sat in my, I don't know how many tabs I have open in my Google, like, on my phone, but it sat in there and I kept forgetting about it. Honestly, I just kept forgetting about it. And I was like, oh, let me do some more research and really feel into it. But I knew when I saw it, it was a yes. And it was like a full sacral response from me. And I was like, yep, I'm in. And it's Brendan Burchard. And there's tons of like really epic speakers lined up. And including Natalie from Boss Babe. Boss Babe Inc. And so I was like, yeah, I'm in. And then I forgot. And then I kind of hemmed and hawed for the last like 4 or 5 days before I purchased a ticket. I was like, it's coming up. Am I going or not? And I was like, wait a second. I said I wanted to get into the room with other people this year. I said I wanted to go to more live events. I've been to Tulum. I have my personal retreat that I'm hosting in July. I have something planned for October and for something that I'm going to. And I was like, okay, I'm in. I was like, the version of me that is okay, there's a version of me that said I wanted to go to live events, and now I'm that future self. I am the version of me that was like, yes, in 2025, we're going to more live in-person events, we're going to more live events, and now I'm future self. That wasn't much time that was there, and now I have a decision to make. If I said I was going to go, I'm going to go. I got the nudge that it was a yes, so I'm going to go. So Monday, at the time that I'm recording this right now, hey, hi, it's Wednesday. Tomorrow starts the event. A lot of people, I would say most of them are probably there already getting checked in. I digress. So I bought the ticket on Monday and I was so stoked all day. And then I was like, I'll deal with the hotel situation later. And then when I went to go book my hotel room that evening, Monday night, all of the rooms for that hotel, because it's at in a conference room at a hotel, whatever, were booked. And I was like, shit. And I was like, okay, well, no big deal. I'll look at the surrounding area. And I started looking at the hotels and I was like, oh, like, this is stretching my capacity. And I was like, let me expand my search. And I was like, I prefer to walk, but if I take an Uber or whatever, or I'll be driving so I can take the Jeep or whatever, it's not a big deal. And as I was booking the hotel, like, the nerves settled in. And I was like, okay, I'm going to this event. I said I was going to go. And so I booked it and I panicked. I had a full panic. Honestly, I was tired. I knew I was tired. I probably could have waited until Tuesday, but I was like, oh, I'm already in the energy of doing this. Let me go ahead and do it. And as I was brushing my teeth and washing my face, I was on the brink of a full panic. And I was talking to my husband, who, bless his heart, he's so tired. His job has him, like, this specific week has him really tired, and the upcoming. And so, I'm just like, okay, I'm like sharing with him the things, like word vomiting the things. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. And he's like, I love having conversations with him. And maybe this is true for you as a spiritual being who has a spouse who is like so grounded and so just like, whatever. and also deeply supportive. Sometimes they are just so neutral because they're not emotionally attached to the outcome like we are, right? And so he's like, I don't understand. You said you wanted to go, you're going. So what's the effing problem? Like, what's the problem? Like, I don't know what the problem is. I just feel like I'm going to have a full-blown panic attack right now. All I did was buy the freaking live event ticket and book the hotel. That was it. I said I wanted to go to live events and I'm going. And so I want to share with you the emotion mirroring that this brings up and also how I moved through this. On Sacred Whisper podcast, I dive in depth on a lot of the things on like that followed yesterday. So Monday night, I booked the hotel, and Tuesday, some crazy things happened. So go listen to episode 83 on Sacred Whisper. So I'm not like repeating myself. So I was like, okay, I moved through it. He had me laughing, and truly laughter is such a cure. And I have a little inkling of what it is that came up, but what I know to be true is on the other side of getting in the room with like-minded souls is literally life-changing. There is reward that happens when we stretch ourselves. And not that we want to be in a constant state of nervous system, like spazzing out, because that is a no. That's always a no for me. But sometimes that fear comes in, right? And for me, there was some fear that was associated. I was like, okay, what is this actual feeling? There was some fear coming up, but I couldn't name exactly what it was. And sometimes that's not important. Sometimes like naming exactly what it is not as important as like, let me step into awareness of what I'm feeling, what it's trying to tell me. Maybe I don't actually know what it's about, but what is it actually trying to tell me? And I woke up the next morning in a locked in state. It was like eyes on the prize, right? I don't know what shifted while I was sleeping. And to be honest, I kind of slept like shit that night, but I woke up locked in. I was like, my energy cannot be tamed. I am not to be effed with. I am unfuckwithable. I am like, I'm in. And I also decided in the month of April, I am doing a quantum embodiment. And also inside of Evolution membership, we are doing unmatched. April is unmatched. It's about being in that unmatched energy as a healer. And so I am doing this with them, and I have a series of different things that I'm doing each day that are things that I like to do anyway, but I'm being more intentional about it. And so I just laid there and I expressed like gratitude for the first 2 minutes. It's like 2 minutes before I even got out of bed. I was like, okay, we are locking in this energy. This is the energy I desire to be in, and this is how it feels. And I'm going to feel that. And then I get up and I'm using my oils as well. I get up, whatever, move through my day. And some crazy things happen. Go listen to episode 83 on Sacred Whisper. It's like, what? It's insane. And here's the thing. As I've moved through the past couple of days, like some of this discomfort has come up a little bit as well. And I want to have a conversation around freaking normalizing this, because you can be like so locked in, so convicted in who you are and what it is that you are here to do, and in your confidence and your power in a way that's in alignment for you. And you can still experience fears. You can still experience imposter syndrome. You can still experience like, whoa, what the fuck was that about, right? And so here's the thing. There was so much going on this week. You guys might know this. If not, my husband's an MTI military training instructor. This week is graduation week. He graduates the flight of trainees that spent the last 7.5-ish weeks in basic training. And then he's picking up a new flight this weekend. So this week and the first like 2 to 3 weeks of a new flight are crazy for his schedule. And so timing, not great for me to be like, I'm going to go to this thing. So see you later. Everybody fend for yourself. They can handle it. I know they can handle it. There were conversations that I needed to have with my kids and my husband as well. And conversations with him, he was like, yeah, go do your thing. It'll be fine. And there was for me to decide also, I'm going to book this regardless of like, there are some obstacles that I need to overcome, and where I'm going, how I'm like, what the travel is going to be like, when I'm leaving, what hotel I'm booking, the schedule that my husband has, my kids' schedule, and all of that. But I decided to go anyway, because I said I am the woman who is going to go to live events in 2025. I'm not effing around. And so I only booked the hotel for Thursday and Friday. I was going to check out Saturday morning and come home Saturday night. And Tuesday morning, after booking the hotel, I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm getting this. I can feel it right now too. I meant to stay on Saturday night too. That there was something around it. It was like the event doesn't get over till later. It's like 7 p.m. each night, but and it's like a couple hour drive, and I was like, oh, I'll get home around like 11 or 12. But I'm like, for some reason, I feel like I'm not supposed to come home on Saturday night. I feel like I'm supposed to come home on Sunday morning. So I went ahead and I extended my stay for one night. I don't know. And I'm getting chills right now. Like, I just know that I meant to stay that one extra night. And I'll know once it gets to that day what that is for me. Maybe it's just that integration period and not being thrown back into, everyday life. Maybe it's just like that moment to like sleep in and just like I don't even know. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to be connected with some really amazing women, and we're going to, have a great conversation that, we're connecting or whatever. And so it is going anyway. This is the embodiment. Where is it that you are saying you want to do something? There's a version of you that is saying that you want to do something. And when you are meeting that edge, when you're meeting the edge, or you're at that crossroads, instead of taking the path of shit, this is scary, you're choosing to look fear in the eye and let it rule you. And what I want to tell you is, or what I want to ask you is that version of you who already has your desires, the version of you who is in your power as a healer, who has a beautiful healing business, who is thriving in abundance in the way that you are meant to do. You are doing the work that you are here to do at a soul level. You can fucking feel it. If you are already that version of you, are you looking fear in the eye and letting it succumb you and bending over to it and going on that path? Or are you taking the path of, it's like, no, this is uncomfortable, but I know this is the path. Again, it's not about disrupting your nervous system. It's about, let me stretch my capacity. Let me step into the embodiment of what I said I was going to do. And I can feel that it's a yes. Where is it that you're receiving signs, angel numbers, songs, maybe a book falls off the shelf, or tarot and oracle cards, or something on social media, and you are not trusting that? You're not trusting the nudges. You're letting your current circumstances define what aligned actions you are taking. I know, because I've been there. And so I decided at some point, I just got sick of it, and I just decided, you know what? I'm done with the games. We are going to go. And I'm going to step into that embodiment. And so often I'm asked, how do you collapse time on your manifestations? How do you quantum leap? And though I'm not a huge fan of that phrase, right? Because it's kind of overused, but I will say, like, you're literally collapsing time on yourself. And how do you do that? I mean, there's different things that you can do to do that. And it's really what's in alignment for you. But the embodiment of that version of you that's already who you're meant to be, it's just a different timeline. You don't have to wait. You can become her now. And this is like really the work that we're doing inside of Evolution all month long, or that I chose to do with the quantum embodiment practices this month too, where it's like, no, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait until December 31st or whatever it is that I'm, quote, waiting for. I'm not going to be in the energy of waiting. I'm going to become her now. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? I'm going to be happier. That doesn't suck. I love the power. I love the story where you're in your power. I love the story when you are joy and creativity and play. And my certification program for Quantum Illumination Reiki, we say fun, flow, play, and ease. I teach through fun, flow, play, and ease, and that's what I want them to be able to remember as they are going through the certification program. Healing is deep fucking work. And also, you get to bring back the fun, flow, play, and ease with it. So I want to talk about emotion mirroring in addition to embodiment. So something that I thought of as I was on the brink of panic, and I was talking to my husband, and I was like, it's interesting because when I think about how this feels in the body, this anxiousness can also feel like excitement. Fear can also feel like excitement, like, or anticipation. So, I said this on a live video the other day where it's like, when as a kid, when you were waiting for your birthday or for Christmas and you're just like in that anticipation energy, like can't wait for like Christmas morning, opening up your presents and things like that. I even witnessed this through my kids as well, especially my son Colin, who is 12, but his love languages is gifts. So it's like extra for him. And so it's excitement, but that energy can also feel like anxiety. It can also feel like fear, right? And so looking at that emotion, and a couple things, you can follow it in your body and you can be like, where is this coming from? And what is this trying to tell me? And hearing what comes through for you. And then you can be like, okay, what is this also mirroring? What does this emotion mirror? Like there's something opposite of it that it also feels like. And what is that? And name it. And be like, okay, I might be feeling fear, or I might be on the brink of panic, but when I think about what panic is feeling like in my body, my mind is freaking out, right? But like this sensation is familiar in the sense that I also feel this and excitement. It's just different thoughts and different situations. So how can I shift this to excitement? And so I encourage you to do that when that fear comes up or when you're questioning yourself, is to get curious. Oh, I just got chills. Is to get curious on what those emotions are trying to tell you, where they're coming from, and mirroring it, like flipping it. What is that also? How else does that show up in the body, but in the opposite sense? And how can you bring that energy in? Because you can change your physical state with a simple decision and then feeling that opposite feeling. It's not that we want to bypass, because we want you to have the emotional intelligence to understand what it is that you're going through, why it is that you're feeling that way, and where it's coming from, and then choosing different, choosing to embody the energy that you desire to be in. So this was about a live event. This was about me knowing this is what I want to do, and I'm meant to be there. But hello, hi, having a human experience. And what I know to be true, again, is that every single event that I go to, every single retreat that I go to, it changes my life. It changes at such a deep level, and there is going to be something on the other side of this. And so if you are ready to step into that embodiment, the version of you that you know you are here to be, then I am hosting Embody Retreat. This is going to be a retreat that is literally designed for you to step into the version of you, collapsing time from where you are to where you desire to be through embodiment practices. Look, there's something that happens when you're in person. You know that being on Zoom, being on social media is powerful. I love being in Zoom rooms. I love being on social media. I love having like that online, being able to have like an online business. I think it's so epic. But you also know that there's so much power in being in person. There's so much potency that happens when you are in the room of like-minded souls. So, and I feel this too. And so this is going to be stepping into the embodiment of the version of you that you desire to be, deepening your embodiment of who you are and who you know you're here to be, coming back to the soul essence of who you are that you know you're here to be, and creating that clarity and that energy and that essence to continue to take home with you. This is also deepening the facilitation practice of Quantum Illumination Reiki. So we're deepening the embodiment of Quantum Illumination Reiki as well. So if you're already in our certification program and you want to add on Embody Retreat, this is July 10th to the 13th. You can check out my highlights for the specific details on it, but it's July 10th through the 14th. I don't know the dates. It's July 10th for 4 days, and it's in Tulum, Mexico, which is a literal spiritual vortex. The energy in itself is potent and magic. And so just DM me retreat, and we will talk even more in depth about the details if you're feeling called to be in person, to deepen your embodiment of who you are and who you know you're here to be. And an in-person, this is in a way that you can only experience a transformation of being in person. So I will see you in the DMs. I hope you have an amazing rest of your night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.